folks. We're back. Yay! We made it all. Everybody's here where they're supposed to be on time. This is a rare evening. Let's celebrate. Whee! Get out all the noisemakers. And
Jesus.
Whee!
we are all excited.
Yay.
We should be going to the Cassalanter Villa tonight, so we'll see how this goes. Got a couple
Finally!
Got a couple of things before we start. One of them is next week is Dad's Day, and we've got a couple of people whose dads would really like to have them there instead of on a stream. So we will be skipping next week. You can watch one of the reruns if you are absolutely desperate for Crone's Crucible. But other than that, we are going to take the week off. So we'll see you in 2 weeks on Crone's Crucible. Second thing is just a little DM note on the side, kind of a piece of interest. I got a very nice PM from somebody who's obviously a great D&D fan and studies all the lore, who very kindly and very politely pointed out to me that I was not following the Cassalanter lore as published by the D&D wiki sites of various things. Yes, I know there is an entire history of the Cassalanters that is online, different names, different people. So I'm going to just throw it out there for you potential DMs or ones who are actively doing this. Don't get locked into the lore so tight that you can't be creative.
First rule from Chris Perkins, the guy who writes it. Do what you want with it.
The lore is there.
In short, this is our house now.
Exactly. And, well, it's
I
my
the
house.
nerds.
I also just look
in the
at
middle
it.
of the street.
I just look at it from Captain Barbossa's point of view. It's more of a guideline than actual rules.
Precisely.
They're more like guidelines.
And they can't even be guidelines with this crazy crew that you see next to me here. There's no way.
Oh, we mess everything up.
There's no way to follow guidelines. I try to follow something and they immediately destroy it 5 ways in the middle. And
wrong one.
Consider it this way. All adjustments are made to ensure that the people who are playing the game and are actual humans feel involved.
Yeah, and I run a very wide open game. To me, I throw out a storyline and I say, here you are, players. Do something with it. Now, I have a skeleton thing written. I have an idea of where I think it's going to go, which is never where it winds up. But I start out on this thing, and very quickly, my players with happy little faces hand me this ball of torn yarn that's little pieces about this long of the original story. So I go off camera, and I sit there tying all the ends together, and I make a whole new framework. And they immediately destroy that one. So by the point we are in this game, it is just completely all new story. And basically, with the Cassalanter background, we wound up with players behind the scene going, you know, it would be really great if my character this or my character that. So I tweak the story, I throw in new Cassalanters that never existed in the real lore, or I take some out, or I rewrite the thing to fit what they are doing to the story, and it changes every week. What I start out from any given week is not the same as what I end up with that week, because they have usually used the story, and I love it that way. So if you're a DM, don't ever get upset that your players are not following what's in the book. That's fine. Just rewrite what's in the book and throw in new people that D&D never heard of.
I've done it without having a book, and I still can't plan.
So
This is true.
I have fun now.
I've thrown two wrenches at him.
Because somebody who shall not be named Brett will just, roll a 1d100 on Divine Intervention, and it'll just always work every time.
Absolutely.
Which I think is a little bit BS, because my divine rolls never work for
You're
Frickin'
Look,
Vlad.
there's an easy explanation to that. Some people God just loves more. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No,
But
see
my-
what it is
but
you
my-
were in Barovia, so you were far away from your god.
That's what it was.
He's in my world, in which the gods you can just walk to them.
That's
Yeah,
very true.
I
That's what
actually
it is.
did talk to my god face to face.
You
Yeah.
walked up a mountain
To
and
get-
talked to
To
your
get back
dragon
to
god.
tonight's episode.
Anyway,
Yep, back.
We're not picking up
Semantics,
your audio.
semantics.
To get back to tonight's, basically, yes, this is not the same. I even say on the lead-in there that this is based on Waterdeep Dragon Heist. This is not Waterdeep Dragon Heist. It is just based on what they have. So as a DM, have fun. And let your players have fun. And let your players do what they want. So don't worry about the small stuff. All right, as we start up tonight, back to what we've got going on here. All of you crawl out possibly with a little sleep still in your eye fairly early because Svel has told you she wanted to meet you over at the Cassalanters at about 9 o'clock in the morning to get this done early and quickly as she could. However, as Svel is, you see her coming up the steps, she's actually coming into the tavern a bit earlier than you had planned to be over at the Cassalanters, and as she is coming into the tavern, she does a double take as Relian goes running past her the opposite direction, heading out for something early morning. He disappears for about half an hour while she's coming in. She's talking with the rest of you, and she says, "Hi, I don't know where Relian went, but I thought I would come over to the inn a little bit earlier so we could kind of make sure we were all on the same page. I don't want any of us stepping on each other's toes when we do something, like one of us saying, 'Oh, yes, we will,' and the other one saying, 'No, we don't.' That might be a little bit embarrassing, so we might make sure we have all of our ducks in a row." And
There's
about the-
there's tea, coffee, and breakfast biscuits
okay.
on the tables.
About the time she's kind of sitting down and grabbing some biscuits and munching on them, I would assume Relian would come back gasping for breath at a dead run. So what I will leave it to Relian as he comes back in.
I found one.
One what?
One what, cousin?
He just reaches into his sleeve and pulls out a red vial, and he says, "Now the set is complete. Here you go, cuz. This is for you." And he hands a potion of healing to Esvel.
Oh, what?
What,
Thank you.
does she collect rainbow potions?
No, this way. This way, I don't have to worry about any of my precious friends and family biting it. Hopefully.
Well, then I
Well,
hope all of
good.
them have a potion.
Ms. Ruth, I think your sensitivity for the auto talk might be set too high. Because I can see you're trying to talk, but we can't hear you.
Really? Okay.
the worst fate.
It seems to be coming across on the stream, but not on this. So let me check my. I'm on auto. I'm not on sensitivity, but let me. I'll put it. I'm now got it back, not on auto, but on just my settings. How's that?
I mean, you're coming through clear so far. But we won't really know until... It's one of those things that you can't prove it's not going to happen until it does.
Yeah.
Okay, if I set it down too far, you hear all the dogs barking and all the kids giggling in the background. So I try to cut a fine line between the two of them there. Let's hope that I have it where it'll work now. One more time looking at this and see if I can kick. No, I'm up maximum on my voice loudness, so that's not it. So I've got the sensitivity down where it's hardly any left on the bottom, so hopefully that'll work.
Miss Ruth, you say children giggling and dogs barking. I hear street noise of Waterdeep.
That's very fair.
That's true, yep. Very good.
And so Cashin pulls out the map again for Asphalt to show her, and he runs by her the plan again.
I'll pull that up for our viewers to see. There's a map that Cashin was handed last week as you were getting ready for bed, and a priest that he knew about brought a sketch by. He had been to the Villa, and he sketched this for them so that they could see what was the floor plan of the main house. He had a message on it that he was not permitted to go upstairs, but he was able to give you a plan of the downstairs of the main mansion and the location of where the carriage house and the guest house are on the grounds, as well as the expansive private gardens that are inside the walls of the Villa proper. There's basically two walls to this Villa. There's an outer perimeter wrought iron fence that goes all the way around, and there's quite a bit of distance between that fence and a solid wall, stone wall. That's the interior wall, and inside this large stone wall is where her butterfly garden is. So that's the garden that he has indicated on there. But yes, they are operating with at least a map of the downstairs, which will help just a bit.
So Cashin repeats the plan to her, to Asvel. So you, Lady Rescuro, Lady Nokri here, and Epiphany here in disguise will distract the Cassalanters with the talk about the upcoming party. Meanwhile, me, Relian, Mink, and Shepard will be secreting through the mansion, checking all the rooms for any signs of the items in question.
She nods and she says, "Be very careful. Are you going as yourselves? They probably know a great many of you by reputation, if not precisely by face. Be very, very careful. For me, my other face is not so well known, and she is, by the way, dressed to the nines this morning. She's in an elegant dress, very obviously playing up the noble part. And she says, if you have any methods to look like you are someone else, I advise it. And if you prefer, I will introduce you as individuals that I have hired to see to the grounds and the locations to assist the Lady Cassalanter. This might be one way that you would be able to look around the grounds a bit."
We actually have an alternative to that idea.
"Oh, really? What do you plan?"
Cashin pulls out one of the potions of invisibility.
You don't have one.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, Relian doesn't have one. You do have one. Sorry, my mistake. I know of the four, there was one that didn't have it. It's Relian that doesn't have it.
She looks at the odd, clear coloring of it, and she goes, "Invisibility?
Indeed.
Wise, as long as it lasts sufficiently long."
I've never understood why people don't lose their invisibility potions more. It seems like something to be easily misplaced.
Well, I imagine the colored bottle does help a bit here.
That is very true.
But the potion inside of it's pretty clear.
Anyway, my idea was that we are not seen at all. That before we even arrive at the villa proper, we'll already be invisible.
She sighs, and you can see a bit of concern on her face. I hope that will work with them. I fear that they probably have various detection abilities.
We have to take certain risks.
If you know anything about gatherings and crowds, 'tis better to be seen at least once and then magically disappear than to attempt to sneak in.
Their guards are among the best in Waterdeep. They hire and train only the best guards, and they are armed. I have it on fairly good belief that they are armed with certain abilities to detect such things. The Lady Nokri may be wise that it might be better to simply wander off into another room and then not be seen.
And have been as little use of these in the event that we do need the guards, but if you say so.
So we aren't taking the potions until after we are on the grounds?
It might be for the wiser, at least in my suggestion.
If you can appear to be other individuals. Now, if you are forced to because you have no ability to change yourself in any way, that is fine. You might have to resort to the potion, but if you possibly can appear to be from the Bakers Union or the Decorators Union or anything of the sort, it might be better to simply be part of my entourage and go to assist the cooks or to check out the kitchen, only you simply never arrive there.
I do have a license from the Brewers Guild. That's how I've been able to make the ale for the tavern this far.
Well, you see, excellent. You can simply be a member of the Brewers Union. This party will require all sorts of things, and I have told her that I'm bringing members of various unions to assist in the planning to see where they might be able to aid her in the development of things and possibly to lend a hand.
Varys spins around excitedly, looking at Nokri. You said that you're going to be introducing yourself as is, right? Like,
Exactly.
As the owner of the tavern?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we offer my raspberry mead for the party? It's an excellent cover.
It's one of
Yes,
the
and poison it. Brilliant.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't want to ruin my mead, but
it would not be something
Yes.
that couldn't be done.
Yes, and let everyone who goes there be poisoned.
I am not going to be party to poison. That is so overdone these days.
Anyway,
We would
moving
be-
forward.
But the only party that has a party would have poison added, would it not?
Moving forward.
As
We
Val
have
is
methods.
just standing there like this, thinking about what you're saying. There is still something that just gnaws at the back of my neck, like someone about to slide a needle into it. I just don't like this whole thing.
Which,
well, undoubtedly something will go terribly wrong. But until then, I say try your best.
Well, the clock is ticking, and we should be there promptly at 9, as I promised her. Are you ready, or do you have any other preparations?
Ashen just finishes his meal and puts on his hat.
Knocker will step back upstairs to go retrieve a rather fine purple and black, like tuxedo type jacket with long tails in the back.
I will run home quickly. I suppose I could have done this beforehand. So Varys is not wearing his usual brown, green, and blue type loose fitting clothing that you've seen him in usually. He's changed it out for more of a brown and gray regular person's clothes. It is a little bit better fitting, not quite as loose, and just normal people clothes.
And
Did you actually want me to bring a barrel of the mead along for a gift or anything?
Well, it
Well,
would,
obviously, you have to taste this.
If
I-
you boys, I mean, if he did bring it, it would give him an excuse to depart from our side,
It
as
might
they would have to go deliver it.
That might not be a bad idea. At worst, they would have us leave it in the foyer, but it might possibly be an excuse to go visit the kitchens or even the wine cellar. I don't know what we have. She peers at the map that's laying on the table. I don't specifically see a wine cellar mentioned here. There is a pantry, but I don't see a wine cellar per se.
So, I was thinking about something. Me and Epi are definitely not going as ourselves. The less people who see us in your company, the better. But I was also thinking Shepard might stand out a bit like a
Here's the
sore thumb.
funny thing. With me in my robe, I do stand out, but I don't show my face for a reason. So me going without my robe, I'm hiding in plain sight.
So are you going without your robe?
I am. I'm going plain clothes.
Is it-
Plain clothes and my armor, making it look like I'm like some kind of guard.
Okay, fair
Excellent,
enough.
because I've been debating OOC with the history that you have with the Cassalanters, how Shepard appearing at their door would go over, so I'm glad to know that.
Yeah,
Yep.
I was just going to say, like, Cash and give Shepard your hat for a second.
Nope, don't need to. Very few people know what my face actually looked like.
Same.
All right, then let us begin. We should get there. She looks Epiphany up and down. When will you be changing?
We will simply need a few minutes to get dressed. Are we departing soon? We would only have a limited amount of time in that form.
It is, we are getting close to pressing it to be there at 9. I would say we better leave immediately.
Very well. Give us some time. And they clamber up the stairs
And double check
sure.
to see if you're able to access what we were talking
I
about.
am. And they come back.
Yep. Suddenly she's Marielle is there. The lady in green has appeared.
So the green and gold wearing drow lady with violet eyes instead of red eyes descends the stairs and takes up position next to Nakri. I am at your service, my lady.
Oh, my turn. Relian snaps his fingers and he's obscured in silver smoke for a brief moment before emerging from the smoke is not the blue-garbed Canson that you all know and loathe, but instead the hunched form of an elderly elf with half-moon spectacles and dressed in semi-rich finery and a workman's smock. Ready to go?
Where's my dentures?
Excellent.
Do you require a walking stick, mister?
My name is Gelman Jameson, young lady, and I have you respected.
Jellison Jameson III.
Of course.
Party planner and gardener extraordinaire.
Esfel
This
just
is so
smiles
not gonna work.
as she watches the group of you do these various things. My only OOC thing is how well known Cashin's face is, so that's the only thing remaining.
They may know his face, but he does have his hat.
Very good.
Mr. Cashin, if you come over here, I can claw your face up.
No. and normally I have to pay for that.
Is there anybody in here, or is it just us?
It's just you and Leaf. It is early enough that the doors have not
Okay.
yet opened for breakfast, but they are
For
about
a
to.
moment, Epiphany's face appears here, and they just wink at Cassian. And then it shifts back into the elf face.
Just ignoring that.
When you step outside the doors, you find an elegant carriage, large carriage with two horses pulling it, and a footman and a chauffeur driver. And she just motions politely to the carriage. My treat today, please. Step in.
Oh wow, this is fancy.
And so you ride in plush comfort over to the Cassalanter Villa. The horses going along at a fast clip-clop through the only just gathering streets. They're not as crowded as they will be later. And you arrive at the expansive Cassalanter Villa. The grounds are absolutely enormous.
Heads up, Lynn just crashed. She's.
Oh no, I'm back.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And right now I have.
Wasn't sure if it messed up the video. That's why I was giving the heads up.
I'm not getting a load on my screen here from one thing to the next. I don't know what's going on. Let me try jumping.
I had quickly jumped back into the call with my phone, and then as soon as the PC booted up with Discord, it immediately pulled me back here. So I have no idea. Maybe it didn't mess up at all.
I am not seeing the Cassalanter Villa, which I know is on that page. It's right there. Should be right there. Why am I seeing nothing?
I mean, I can see it.
Yes, I'm glad
Yeah.
you can, but it's blank to me. So I will jump this to another page for me because I am seeing nothing for the viewers on the screen. So I will show them the overall map because that is coming up. For some reason, the picture of the Villa is not.
In case it needs being mentioned, Varys does run down to the cellar real quick, grab a small barrel of his raspberry mead, and takes it with him into the carriage so that he as a decoy gift.
Very good. I would reload the. That may. I just noticed I had something from Roll20 up here. Let me see if that makes a difference on this. It's interesting. Why was that there? Nope, still have a white page. I don't know what's going on with that picture, but it does not want to show, and I can't reload because if I do, I lose a lot of sheets that are open behind the scenes. So, oh well.
During the carriage trip, Cashin would ask Esvel which cover should he go for.
Which covers are you considering, dear?
Something a little flashy.
Aren't you supposed to be part of the stealth team? I don't know if flashy is maybe the best idea.
That's when.
I don't know that it will matter if he simply vanishes at some point. The more
That's
people
fair.
we have around, the harder it is to keep track of one individual. But I just need to find out exactly whether he wishes to be part of the nobles that I'm bringing along that may be in search of an invitation, or he wishes to be part of the workforce.
I guess I could be a traveling noble from Silvery Moon.
I would accept that. It would be one of my relatives from there. And Relian's, of course, but we won't mention that, will we, dear Relian?
Him, a relative, over my decrepit body.
Oh, don't be so cruel towards Cousin Felix.
Oh my god.
So the horse continues to trot along, and at a surprisingly short time for how used you are to the slower hacks and walking this distance, it's very pleasant to travel in comfort and have it traveled very quickly, and you very quickly pull up in front of this expansive villa. And as I described earlier, there's this outer wrought iron fence with lots of filigree in the wrought iron to make it impossible to slide through the bars, and two enormous gates with like a harp top on them, and there are 3 guards stationed outside. There's actually 2 guards outside the gate and 1 inside the gate that looks to be somewhat ranking. They look very capable, they look very focused, they do not look like they are sloughing off on their job at all. All of them are wearing the Cassalanter green livery, which has the Cassalanter crest on it. Also quite prominent as you pull up in front of these gates, the Cassalanter crests are displayed on either side, fastened to the wrought iron fencing on the outside. And the Cassalanter crest, in my world, I add to the people who are viewing, in my world, the Cassalanter crest is a shape of more or less a kite shield that is with a green background. It has a white Y on the thing that divides the shield into 3 sections, and in each of the sections there is an image displayed. On the top, in the V of the Y, is a very decorative curly C, letter C, that the shepherd is extremely familiar with. It is exactly the same logo that is on the dagger he's had in his possession for many years. The other 2 sections, the 2 lower sections, on the left side of the Y stem, there is a blazing sun in white, just the silhouette in white of a blazing sun. And on the right side, there is a silhouette of like a goose. What the meaning of the goose is a little bit more lost to time. However, I would like a roll. I want a history roll specifically from Cashin, and I want a perception roll from Relian and Shepard.
History?
History from Cashin, and I want...
Hey!
Hey.
Let me get the
long as
dice
someone
rolls
passes it.
showing here so we know what we've got. Aha, we've got some good rolls there. Relian, yeah, you've got a 12. All right. Well,
Sorry.
Don't get too excited.
for Relian, he looks at the shield, and having heard what he has over the past several days, he very quickly connects the fact that the sun on the shield is probably this image of Seamorph, the goddess of nobility, that they are said to follow most strictly and obviously very much in your face about their worship of Seamorph. The shepherd would recognize the sun, and for the first time, Shepard would also recognize, as he looks at this, and after he's been doing some studying various things, I'm going to whisper Shepard. Shepard makes a connection he's never had before as he looks at this symbol of the Cassalanters. And Cashin, you look at this goose on their symbol, and you stop and you think back through the many years that you know of the history of Waterdeep, And you remember that once long ago, it's so far back you had actually forgotten it until you really stopped to think about it. But the Golden Goose Treasury, owned by Mert, was reputed to once have been owned by one of the Cassalanter forebears. It was said to be how they started making their fortune initially. So the Golden Goose Treasury that is now part of the Harpers, Cashin remembers as having once been part of the Cassalanter fortune.
Cashin nods to himself with this realization as he strokes the feather in his hat with his middle and index finger, and uses the disguise self ability that the hat gives him. He shifts his features. His clothes, of course, change into more noble-like, and his features shift into something more that slightly resembles Esvel's appearance. And he also gives himself a mustache.
And what name will you be known as, dear?
Felix Rosiro.
But of course.
Felix.
Is it Ros? For my benefit, is that Roscuro or Rosiro, as in a different name?
I'm pronouncing it as Roscuro.
Okay, same name as Esvel. All right. You were for my pickup on the things. You were just a little bit robot-y, and I couldn't quite make out what you were saying.
All right. Yeah, it's gone now.
Yep. So she nods and says, "Excellent." And Relian, would you type your name in the box there for the game? And Felix, I think I'll remember yours, but anyone else, let's see, Marielle, you just go by your first name. I need to make sure the DM can remember all these names for her part in the play.
Oh, I guess I need to be called by a different name just in case the Cassalanters.
Type it in the box, please, if you would, so that I would know how to address you. Leorath, all right?
Yep.
All right, let's put you on the main floor of the Cassalanters. And that one came up, I'm glad to say. All right. You're down in the lower right.
As they're pulling up, Varys will say, I'm not expecting anyone there to recognize me, but just in case, refer to me if you need to as Varian Fonadel instead of Varys Lonadel.
Okay, Fondle.
Oh my.
Hush. The stream doesn't know anything about that. But yes, it is a throwback.
Yes, it has something to do with Appo's stream. Appo's game, but yes. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'll try to keep a straight face when I say that. It's not working. So she raps on the roof of the carriage, and the footman jumps off the back of the closed carriage, comes around and opens the door formally. She accepts his hand that he puts out, and she descends very elegantly down from the carriage and turns and looks for the rest of you to accompany her.
Varys will get out of the carriage holding his cask of mead and very, peasant-y be looking around at the very impressive manse that they have.
I would rap Felix on the shoulder sharply and says, "What are you doing, young man? Help me down."
Of course. And Cashin ungently helps him down.
Youngins today.
The guards turn and they look at Lady Roscuro, and she holds out a calling card with a very noble air, like the guard is beneath her dignity almost. I am expected, young man. Please inform your lady that I have arrived. And as I promised, I have brought several from the various guilds to attend to her needs regarding the party, along with a friend of mine, well, a relative, frankly, who is going to be in the city for some time. It's possible that she might provide him with an invitation along with the Lady Nocri, who is known to be a visiting noble. Please inform her we have arrived. And they motion to the guard who is inside, who takes off running, runs up to the door, disappears. You notice there are two guards at the door in addition. You can also see, as you look left and right at the gate, you look up and down, you see guard patrols that are patrolling the expansive grounds along with guard dogs, and they are well armed. But the guard disappears inside, is gone for perhaps 5 minutes, and returns nodding as he runs up to the gate. The two guards at the gate then unlock the gate and open them wide for you. You may enter, my lady. You are expected. She sweeps in and up the path towards the door and just heartily gives the guards at the door a notice. She kind of half nods at them and opens the door and just walks straight in without waiting for them to open it for her or anything. How are the rest of you proceeding with her?
I will
Cash.
offer my arm to Epiphany's character. Like the name blanked out on me.
Marielle.
Yeah, I'll escort Marielle in with me and motion for the others to don't dawdle too far behind.
Cashin will do the same with Asvel, and he uses his other hand to walk with his quote-unquote cane.
Relian, disguised as Jelric Jameson, would be hobbling somewhere in the middle of the group. However, every so often he'd stop and look at a wall or a random piece of furniture or decoration as if he's critically eyeing it. That might have to go.
I'd follow up the rear, trying my best to act like a guard, just looking around for threats, I guess.
As the Lady Asvel opens the door opens ahead of her, and standing at the door is a very rigid, rather tall, pretty much elven-looking butler, very finely dressed and backbone straight, obviously highly trained in a great deal of things. My Lady Asvel, please, let me get that door for you. You are expected, of course. And 1 second, I need to whisper Epiphany something. When Marielle gets to the door, all right, door.
Marielle, sort of glances at the butler and inclines her head.
The butler bows formally, motions inward, and you step into the formal reception area that is overwhelming. Let me describe this kind of L-shaped room that you enter into on this, which is quite astounding. Relian, you might want to catch up to us so you can see some of what's going on inside of this.
While you're describing that, Epiphany is going to be bonus actioning, pinging everybody.
So you're going to be sending them information?
Yes.
That was right. Marielle.
All right, so let me describe this room. There is a large grand piano. Actually, I guess it's a harpsichord, excuse me. Grand harpsichord in the room. There are a number of bookcases which are not filled with too many books, although there are several books in them. Primarily, they are filled with religious objects, and all of the religious objects are various collectibles to Seamorph. There are chalices of all kinds of sizes and descriptions, silver ones, gold ones, very clearly to even the unattuned eye, these things are worth a bloody fortune. They are all over this bookcase and displayed very prominently with the gold sun emblazoned on the side of these chalices. The red carpet in the entryway is woven with symbols of Seamorph blatantly displayed as you walk in. There are various pictures on the walls of the goddess in elegant poses showing her nobility and offering help to the poor and what have you. All over the walls there are these beautiful paintings to Seamorph. The temple to Seamorph, if you will, of this room is so overwhelming it's almost sickening.
So gaudy.
Precisely. Very obviously they are making a statement, whatever that statement may be. The
We
button,
totally love Seamorph, guys.
This is such a lovely entryway.
why,
I'm
yes?
I would like to, again, doing my guardly duty, looking around the room. I am actively looking around for Cassalanter symbols.
There are no Cassalanter symbols in this room.
Okay.
The Cassalanter crest is quite obviously missing from this room. Everything in this room is just, the only good description of it is a temple to Seamorph. They are just making it very clear that Seamorph is the goddess of repute in this household, because they are noblesse oblige, they are the nobles who help the poor, etc. The butler greets you, looks around at each of you. Lady Isveld, please introduce to me your various compatriots. I was not expecting some of these. I know that some of them are from the unions. You spoke of bringing them, but I don't recognize some of them. And he pauses on several of you and looks at you very, very carefully. His eyes kind of narrows as he looks at you in a rather odd sort of way. I want to, just for my own knowledge here, I want, it's also interesting that wasn't on GM. Let me fix that.
Excuse me.
Lynn, don't die. We still need you.
Sorry, I haven't been
And you know,
feeling well
there's
the
that
last
whole
couple of
"we
days.
care about you" thing too.
Yeah, that too.
His eyes definitely narrow as he looks over the group of you in the room, and he says, "Yes, she will be along shortly. I will go get her for you. Please enjoy the collectibles here while you wait." And he leaves out of one of the rooms to the over here, disappears through a door over there, leaving the group of you apparently alone in the room.
Mariel looks around and sees that there is a piano and goes and sits and begins playing loudly.
Passion will then ruminate on the man's staring at them, trying to figure out what the stares meant.
And as I said, it's a harpsichord, so no matter how hard you pound on the keys, it would make the same volume of noise. Harpsichords only had one volume.
I would move over. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I would move over to Muriel while she's playing and try to whisper into her ear. Let the others know we're looking for the Cassalanter symbol.
Epiphany will appear in Shepard's mind. We will ensure that they are aware of the Cassalanter symbol that we are looking for. And Epiphany will, as they're playing, as Mariel is playing, she'll relay that to the group.
Ferris will ask, why? In his mind, not out loud.
Because that is where we will likely start finding what we seek.
The door opens, and the butler opens the door, and an elegantly beautiful woman with dark hair comes sweeping through into the room. As he does so, thank you, Wilford. That will be all for now. I will be able to take care of the lady myself. I will speak with you later. Please do see to the party preparations. He nods and closes the door behind him, and she walks over, grabs both of Esbel's hands in her two hands. Esbel, it's so good to have you come and assist us with this. There's so much work to be done. It's just overwhelming. Yes, I wanted to come and see how I could assist you, and I've brought several people to help you. Most of these are people from the various unions. Marielle is one of my servants. She's my lady-in-waiting, and this is my cousin, Felix Rascuro Bonheur. He is from Silvery Moon and has come to join me. I was hoping perhaps I could obtain an invitation for him, since there are so many coming. And the Lady Nockery as well was hoping maybe she could be included in the invitations.
Nockery will bow her head respectfully towards the lady before her, showing all utmost respect.
Yeah, and when she came in, when clearly somebody important came in, Mariel stops, stands, and moves to Esvel into the proper position behind her and bows.
And Felix would have executed a courteous bow when his name was mentioned.
Why, excellent, my dear Esvel. Oh, if they are family of yours, I must invite them. And oh, Lady Nockery, I've been hearing so much about you, my dear. Well, this royalty in the city is so exciting. It really is. Of course you're invited. Of course. All are invited. We want this to be a joyous occasion. I hope you have a costume. It's a costume party, you know.
I'll be sure to whip something up. I have a few contacts within the city, but the ones I deal with are very quick with their makings.
Excellent, excellent. I'm glad you will attend. Oh, I'm sure they're going to be talking about this for well, probably an entire year at least. Esbel says, oh, my dear Amalia, you play yourself short. I think that this will be the party for the next century. Oh, do you really think so? I'm so thrilled. We will just have so much fun. Well, come. Do you wish to come into the library, or do you wish to discuss the party preparations here? Well, my compatriots, she looks around at the group of you who are dressed like helpers, like union people, and she says, would it be allowed if perhaps they were allowed to go into the kitchen and talk with the chefs and such to see how things are moving forward with the preparations. They want to make a list of whatever it is they will be needed to perform or provide for your excellent party. Oh, why yes. I'll call one of the guards and they can see to you doing there. And she kind of waltzes over to the northern door and opens it a bit. And, Henry, please, would you come in and see to escorting our friends about the house? They are going to be assisting with the party. A guard steps through the door, looks the group of you up and down, appraising you very carefully. And he nods at her, and she says, well then, Esfel, you and your noble friends come into the library, and we will just discuss everything in there. Is that all right with you? She nods, and with that, the group of you can go whichever ways you're going to be going. Let me get the door back open here.
Felix will say to Esfel, my dear cousin, let me join the workers. I wish to know a little more about this party, and you know how all the gallant parties I've thrown in the past. I may be of some assistance.
Oh, well, very well, cousin, if you feel you must. I hate to see you miss the talk with Amalia, but you know best, my dear. Go ahead. And she will wave you off. Marielle is going with her?
Yes.
All right, so Lady Amalia brings you into a massive library. There are shelves all over the place, and on the shelves, which go floor to ceiling, and it's a 20-foot high ceiling.
So which way did they go? Sorry.
Yeah.
Over here.
Open door
Okay.
over there. Floor to ceiling bookshelves, and there are ladders with those rolling bars across the top, and the ladders roll back and forth so you can access the books that are way high up on the thing. Playing on the two ladders are two children who are absolutely beautiful children, but they are the ones that you saw at the parade the other day. They are approximately the same age, about probably 9 years old, and they are both golden-haired, angelic-looking children, very similar in appearance, but one's a boy and one's a girl. And let me pull them onto the token layer. And they are having grand fun rolling the ladders back and forth and giggling as they do so. And the boy is playing some mind game of he's a valiant soldier charging into battle on his ladder steed, and the girl is doing various girly things with it, and she has a doll in her hand that she's holding like she's rescuing a child or whatever, but they're doing it. And Amalia smiles at them and goes, children, we have some planning to do for the party. Why don't you go out into the garden for a while, please? They giggle and nod and very happily run down the ladders and run out, disappear out through the back door. She motions to some chairs, luxurious chairs in the area. We can sit here or in the reading room next door, whichever you wish. She looks at Nokri. Where would you be comfortable, my lady?
Either is fine. I mean, this is your home after all. Wherever you feel most comfortable is perfectly acceptable with me.
Well, then, let us go in the reading room. It's a bit more cozy than here in the giant library. It's ever so noisy and echoey at times. And she ushers you into the next room where there are comfortable chairs and tables for you to sit in and read if you were to have books.
As Marielle starts making their way to the next room, the mental connection, the last person that she was mentally connected to was Relian, and just says, "Well, we're going in. Enjoy."
Enjoy hard work, whippersnappers. Trying to find all my
rooms here.
Now then, Harriet, was it?
Harriet?
The guard.
Talking to Henry.
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 I'm saying Harriet on purpose.
The guard just looks you up and down with hardly a glance and says, "The kitchen, sir, is this way." And he
I
escorts
will.
towards a dining room that has a big, expansive arch. It's open.
Varian, who has been holding this cask of mead the entire time, I'll also need to be shown to the pantry. Lady Nokri and Mariel have decided that a cask of my raspberry mead is to be given as a gift.
Oh, well, we don't have a wine cellar per se. The guest house sometimes acts as a wine cellar, but we don't use it precisely. I'm sure the chef would be storing it in the pantry. When parties are thrown of the size that we're preparing, a mere wine cellar would be insufficient to hold the amount of liquor that would be expected at such a thing.
Well, of course. So many people.
But he says, "Come this way into the kitchen, or I'm sure that Chef Tergoba will be glad to take it from you." So you are, let's start with the group that is going towards the kitchen, and we'll come back to the group that's sitting, because I have several things to describe in the reading room as well. As the group of you are going through the foyer into the dining room and then into the kitchen, the ones that are, I'll call the workers group for want of just a general phrase, I would like the group of you to please give me a perception roll to just see what you're noticing as you're walking through the foyer. Relian's too old and blind.
Varian is too distracted.
He's carrying a keg.
Mm-hmm.
Cashin and the shepherd notice, after having seen the map, and actually I would say probably with 8 rolls and the map, even Relian and Varys would look to their left to notice where the mark on the map said storage. The actual writing, handwriting on the map said storage ? And when you look to your left in the foyer, and I'm going to get out an arrow here so that, where Shepherd is going, you notice there is pretty much a large human-sized door. It's about 5.5 feet tall. It's not 6. You'd have to bend down just a little bit, but there is what appears to be a very obvious and normal sliding door right here underneath the stairs. And so you are able to verify that with the map that you were given, that there is something, that's some kind of storage area apparently under the stairs. Perhaps this is wine cellar or something, you don't know, but there is clearly a door under the stairs, although not a full-size door. So you do note that as you go, and they take you into this dining room, which is quite massive, one of several dining rooms that are in the mansion as a total. And then they take you through the dining room and into the kitchen, which is in the back here.
With each room that we're going through, I'm again keeping my eyes peeled for the Cassalanter symbol.
When you, as you walk into the foyer, you see a shield with some weapons crossed behind it that has the Cassalanter shield on it, in these rooms. You also see numerous furniture of the type that you would expect in a foyer, the kind of side table and side desk sorts of things, not desks that you would sit at, but there are drawers and various things. You also know that there are some offices in the direction down here because of the map. You know there are some office situations down here, as well as some kind of sitting room that is up off the dining room to the north. So you are aware that those areas exist. Cassian steps into, or Felix in this case, steps into a kitchen that is abuzz. There are 5 cooks that are commoner kind of cooks who are just sweating bullets getting everything ready. One of them is actually setting the dining table for what will probably be the family meal later on, but you can see piles of crates and things in the kitchen that are obviously shipments starting to arrive, and there is a large man with a severe face with a cook's hat on in the rear of it, standing with his arms crossed, watching these cooks running up and down and preparing meals, getting stuff out of crates, and working their buns off, yelling orders in a very profound voice. He is clearly the king of the kitchen.
Felix spots the man in the cook and politely waits until he is done barking orders to introduce himself.
It takes just a bit before you are able to get him to take a breath. He seems to issue almost non-stop commands. Finally, he turns and looks at you, can see you're a noble, and he goes, "Yes, I'm very busy here. What can I do for you? I have meals to prepare and a party to arrange."
Cassian introduces himself again. Felix Roscuro Bonheur, and I am a part of the committee here to help enhance the party.
Yes, I'm sure you are. Whatever you need, as long as you don't get in our way, I have work to be done. Now, are you bringing anything for us? Is there anything I have to sign off? What?
I am.
Patience, young Varian. But yes, we do have something. Come here now.
And he looks at Varian as Varian steps in. And what is this?
This is, are you familiar at all with the Troll Skull Inn?
Oh, yes, I don't frequent such taverns, but yes, I'm familiar with what it is.
This is my, quite unique raspberry mead that I've been working on over some time. It's only recently released there. Lady Nokri thought it would be an excellent idea to bring a cast as a gift.
Oh, yes, well, if the lady chooses it, I will serve mead to those guests who wish it. Yes, of course, you can set it over there. He kind of offhandedly waves behind a counter. You can put it over there. Yes, that's fine. That's fine. Now, we are quite busy here. Is there anything else? Must I do everything?
No, we wouldn't wish to disturb you. Ensuring that the upcoming meal is a resounding success.
Yes, we have only 7 days, not even a 10-day, I tell you. I have only 7 days to prepare this, and I must get it done. Now, hey, the meat, it's searing. Get it off the fire immediately. Now, it's going to be burnt. And the sub-chef who's made the faux pas jumps to the stove and pulls a pan from the fire. All right, I've taken care of your mead. You can leave now.
As you wish.
I give him a long, hard look before I go ahead and turn around.
Relian murmurs to himself, They're using too high of a flame.
The guards that escorted you has returned to his position, just kind of standing in the hallway. There's one by what you know is a rear entrance, and one just observing the stairs and people coming and going in the hallway where you
Can
are.
I? Sorry, I didn't want to cut you off while you were describing. As we were leaving, could I do something? Leaving the kitchen, that is.
Of course, give me what you want to do, and I'll let you know.
I want to look at the pan of the searing meat that the chef is being berated over, or the underchef's being berated over, and I want it to cast control flames to cause it to just like boom, and draw the attention of the room.
All right.
It is only a somatic component, so I can like.
Looking at so you would just be able to very quietly, as you walked out the door, make whatever hand motion that you need to get this to flare up, and all the cooks, you hear a scream of displeasure from Chef Jergoba, who is yelling, and even the lesser chef who was setting the table and putting dishes on goes running for the kitchen frantically to see what's going on, and flames are jumping up from the stove, and you can hear Chergoba yelling, "I'll have you fired for this, if not flogged."
Well, I may have messed up the man's career, but in the chaos, I will attempt to drink my invisibility potion.
Give me a sleight of hand with advantage.
Is that for all of us?
Anybody who is changing or going invisible, yes.
All right.
23.
24.
I'm actually going.
And it was advantage.
I'm actually going to
25.
cast detect good and evil.
Give me a Constitution roll.
Me?
Yes.
I'm
Okay.
familiar with this. I've made this mistake.
Constitution saving throw.
Just a Constitution roll. I just want to see how good your Constitution is.
That would be a 12.
You stagger. You are, for about 2 minutes, you are dizzy, and you feel nauseous at your stomach for 2 minutes.
Okay.
The entire house has a sensation of evil that has just overpowered you. Incidentally, I want to see 30 feet. All right, there.
30 feet for any of those types that's listed.
Yeah, I'm trying. There's a lot for me to think about. I need to look at something. No, that wouldn't apply.
While you're looking at that, Relian is going to notice the out-of-robe shepherd stumble. He's going to catch him by the arm and says, "Hey, easy there, young fella." And he's going to lean in and whisper, says, When you can stomach it, it might be a good idea for us to vanish. We're kind of left alone.
You detect fiends in various locations within 30 feet, including above you and below you. The walls almost detect evil, and you detect a very strong, creatures and also objects. There are several locations that have been consecrated or desecrated, either one. You detect a strong aura of consecrated desecration, if you will, coming from what you know to be an office to the southeast of you. You detect extreme desecration below you, along with a circle in the desecration that is part of the reason why you are so overwhelmed. It is a highly consecrated area of great good. It is as if it is in the middle of horrible desecration. And you detect tremendous evil coming from right at the limit of your 30 feet above you. You detect evil.
It's kind of like when you jump in the hot tub and then jump in the cold pool and then jump in the hot tub and then jump in the cold pool.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
you've just almost been knocked on your can with the overpowering senses of both consecration and desecration.
Holy whiplash.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's
Even made more so
definitely-
with what I am.
And there is definitely
And then-
an object that has been consecrated to evil to the southeast.
So I forgot to mention something that was part of my plan. I wanted to cast locate object before I drink the potion. Would I have had a chance to do that?
Yeah, we're still discussing that. You just said you're going to, so I'm assuming we're still in that split second of discussion time. So,
Okay. I am going to detect the symbol of Asmodeus that I was shown.
very good. And you have it written up there so I can actually see how it runs.
Not yet, but I
I'm
do
looking for
now.
ranges and such. Oh yeah.
I mean, I think
Well,
I know where the location of both things are right now.
And Varys's location would, if he were in communication with Shepard, he would get exactly the same reading.
Oh, did Shepard say something about it?
Well, I was going to until you started talking.
Yeah, he hasn't said anything yet, but both of you simultaneously do your actions, and both of you get this reading from what you know is an office on this floor to the southeast of it.
Well, I just say double confirmation.
Yep. The offices, it has the symbol. Below us is the weapon, and there's great evil everywhere.
Kasha nods as he imbibes the potion and goes invisible.
I want to also look at something.
Would now be a good time for Shepard and Rel to do it as well?
I would say also, Shepard, based on what I know has happened, you would get a vaguely, almost celestial feeling of two beings running around in the garden.
Oh no.
I wonder what that could possibly be. Anyway, so you said that the signal for the signal for the amulet, I don't know why I couldn't say that word, is coming from the northeast?
Southeast.
Southeast. Okay.
Yeah.
And is it up or is it
Same
level
floor.
or is it down?
Same
Level.
floor.
Okay.
It's basically from the direction of where your map is marked for an office.
Yep. Getting a little too ahead of us.
Yeah, but my question still stands: is Shepard imbibing his invisibility potion?
Would I have time, since you told me that I'm kind of like knocked
I would
silly
say
from...
that yes, you have several minutes in here. The guards can see you in a sense of they're aware you're not stealing the silver. They're not too worried. they figure the chefs have it in hand, so they're not paying a whole lot of attention. But you would have several minutes here. But yeah, you spend some of those minutes a little on the dizzy side.
Okay. So then, yeah, I will imbibe my invisibility potion.
I will actually, once I am invisible, I will just grab a couple of. Relian, or Sam rather, would you mind? I know you have the invisibility spell. Would you mind putting it in chat just so that we can see the specifics?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
And
That would probably be his next move anyway.
now let's just freeze frame the group of you that have been in the kitchen, because I want to go to the reading room, and I need to find the information. Oh, really? I need to find some information here. When the group of you come in and sit down in these easy chairs, as I said, besides each of the very comfortable chairs, there are tables which are clearly set up to lay books on or what have you. There's a couple of smaller bookcases in this area. And you notice on the table that is alongside the large chair where Amalia sits, that a book is laying open and a glass of wine is sitting on top of the open page that is there. It looks like somebody was possibly reading it. Give me a perception roll. No, I do not want to restart my computer. Thank you very much.
That would be bad.
Apparently there's an update, which I've done 3 of them, I think, in the last 4 days, so they must be fixing the fixes. Anyway, I want the group of you who are in the reading room. I won't include Esbel on this. She's just keeping Amalia engrossed in conversation. But the others of you, please give me a perception roll so I can see how much around the room you take in as you are sitting there shooting the breeze. All right, so Nakri, as she walks past the chair that Amalia is going to be sitting in, and you look at this open book, you realize it's a journal. And there is a pen and ink laying beside it, and there are several notations in it in a heavy hand that looks like it is probably a man's hand. It is not delicate script, so it's probably a man's hand. You notice there are several comments on the pages related to history books and readings. Apparently, when whoever was sitting here before was reading, I will say he, since it's kind of assumed that it's a he was taking notes about things that he was reading. And you skim down the look, just, in the year 351, such and such occurred kind of notes that you might see, study notes. But you also notice on the second page, and partially covered up by the wine glass, you are able to pick out enough that you can fill out the sentence that says, "Never Ember's dragons are the answer to our prayers."
I'll pretend like I saw nothing and continue to admire the room for what it is.
Very good. Anything that you wish to chat with Amalia about, or how do you wish to go? Because this will just be chat, as Vel will very clearly try to keep it very light and very, very happy, talking about the party and the decorations, and she'll look around the room and ask how she's going to decorate this room. It will be just party discussions upon party discussions. So how do
Marielle will throw in ideas every now and then.
Very good, and that's fine. I just want to know how you are doing. At one point, Esbel will motion towards the door to the north, and she will say, could we look at the grounds themselves? I understand most of the festivities will be outside. Could we peek outside and see exactly how we're going to set up? And she kind of glances back at the two of you with a nonplussed poker face sort of look that would say, maybe you should
Sorry.
remain behind for just a moment. And she'll then, kind of, and she'll say, I'll just peek outside for a moment. Is that all right, Amalia? Please, show me the gardens. And the door will be left open as the two of them step out into the garden. Outside, you can see flitting back and forth the two children who are just running up and down happily. And the two of them step just outside the garden door, and you can see their backs as they are motioning, animated, and talking about, well, over here we thought there'd be a pavilion, and we'll have this, and so forth that's going on. Give me another perception roll for what you see in the garden through the door. It's going to have to be a high perception roll, but there is a...
While we're doing this, Epiphany is going to have a mental connection, establish a mental connection with Nakri.
Damn, I'm just banging out these perception
Yeah,
rolls
you're
right
doing
now.
well.
She's got she's in battle alertness.
Yeah, she's in focus. There's something going on here, and I'm going to find it out. For just a moment, as they step outside, you think at first it's an enormous butterfly. And for just a moment, you hear the sound of kind of like a buzzing, but it's in a language of some kind, and it's like, and it disappears. And you hear Amalia go, shoo, shoo, leave my butterflies alone, you rascals. And Svel is just kind of standing there like, uh-huh. And that's all you see of what's going on outside. Now, the two of you are left for probably 5 minutes to your own devices. What are you doing?
I will pace near the chair like I'm observing the room, the wallpaper, like, observing the architecture and stuff like that. But I will pace so that my back is to the book to kind of like, in a way, weirdly shield it in case anybody else comes in from the other door, and motion for Epiphany to take a peek.
Epiphany will do so.
See what details they can glean from this.
Outside of all these history notes, which you look them over, there's only one history note that you notice as having anything which seems odd to you in any shape. The note says, Baldur's Gate reading. G. Duke, Older Ravengard, weak point in the chain. Then, on the other page where the other notes were made, you find a sentence that a line has been drawn through part of. The line read originally, one key identified, mausoleum. In form YG, we cannot enter. And there is a line through the initials YG. Then
I'm sorry.
Then the next line reads, an arboleth. Now it makes sense. Uniting grants power of mind.
Marielle. Mr. Golor, could you please put down the Skittles? We need to have a little conversation.
This tonight's episode is not sponsored by.
And he's probably eating cake this morning for breakfast because he eats whatever he wants. Yes? What do you need?
Do you know anything about, say, a duke from Baldur's Gate, or anything about a... One moment. Lady Nokri, do you have any assumptions for who a YG might be and why they might be crossed out?
I do believe it is because of a certain extra lady that we had met before. One who is not happy with our presence, but knows we were there in her own home.
Oh yes, them. Mr. Golor, do you know anything about a Yala Growlhund?
He searches his mind and he goes, they were not in my immediate connections that I have. The Growlhunds, as a family, I know were an important family in Waterdeep. I don't know who are currently in charge of that family. It's been 10 years since I've had any connection. However, they were the ones, the Growlhunds were the ones holding me for a while, were they not?
I believe so.
That
And does
must,
the word
that must be,
aboleth mean anything to you?
he chokes on his tea. Why do you ask?
There are some notes that we are looking at right now that indicate something about melding and an aboleth being an explanation for the reason why.
He tries to look very innocent in your mind. And as he does so, you get images of him shifting his appearance. For a moment, he looks like old man Golor. And the next moment, he looks like something very different, and then he shifts back to Golor again. I'm sure I don't know what you're talking about.
Do not worry. And then all of the voices speak at the same time. You're among friends.
Yes.
And then Epiphany will not mentally speak, but verbally speak to Nakri. Yes, we believe that Golor may be an aboleth. So this would confirm that, yes, the Castellanters have been, and Marielle will start moving away from the death, from what she was looking at, the notes and such, and that the Castellanters were in fact dealing in things that we suspected that they were.
Well, that aside, do you notice anything in the rooms, this one and the other one behind us, that might be connected back to what we're looking for?
There was a very lovely musical instrument in the other room, but unfortunately, no, nothing else has caught my attention.
So, and just for the idled conversation of pretending like they were talking about anything else but all of this, pointing out the paintings and other some book titles on the side, that ones that speak nothing of money, mostly of naval, and then not really to be charming. At least Samariel is just being like slight storytime regalia of like interesting ventures out on sea. Like, hey, we stopped this pirate ship from doing some stupid,
That sounds absolutely terrifying. Please tell me more.
And there are several naval and military novels in the room. It's obvious the person who sits here most commonly enjoys naval and military histories. So yeah, that would play right into what would be in this room.
Yeah.
By this time, the two ladies are returning. As the door closes behind them, you also notice that it has a stained glass section that's about face-sized that has a stained glass of a butterfly on it. You can kind of look out in the clear sections around the butterfly and check what's out in the garden, but the butterfly is very decorative, very beautiful on this door, indicating the butterfly garden is beyond, sort of thing. Anything else you wish to do before you settle back into the discussions? And do you need to have her escort you anywhere else to see what party planning that you need? I'm going to kind of let this be that Esvel is doing the distracting and the gabbling while you guys kind of direct where it's going.
Essentially, Mariel would ask if there are any other places in the home that guests would have access to that might, certain decorations might need to be considered for them or certain amenities planned.
Well, yes, once the party starts, the entire second floor will be part of the thing. The powder room is up there along with the ballroom. Our second indoors dining room is up there, and we will be using that because the one dining room won't be enough for the priority guests. We will have the second dining room opened. There is another large cloak along with the large one down here. We have most of the cloaks will be stored, but that's for only up to maybe 100 guests. This will far exceed that this time, so we're going to open some of these storage areas upstairs to have additional cloak space up there. Do you feel you need to see any of that? I'll be glad to escort you up there.
I believe that would be absolutely lovely and most generous of you. We would love to help you plan anything that you would require.
Why, of course. Come with me. You start out and they take you out and up to the second story, and I will come back to you in a moment. Back to the half-invisible or all-invisible crew.
Dun, dun, dun.
Back in the kitchen. Where are you guys now going to go now that there's only half of you showing? Or one of you? How many of you are visible?
I think
all are visible. Yeah, I think we're all invisible right now.
All right.
So SWAT team.
Is this guard still here?
Yes, those guards are permanently stationed in that locale. Let me give him just a quick perception roll here, just for my own knowledge, because I need to know. He is engaged in a discussion and apparently is very irritated with the guard across the hall from him, because the guard across the hall from him has apparently cast aspersions on his girlfriend, and he is saying some very unnice things to the guard. They're in a bit of a verbal confrontation as you come out. They are not paying attention to anything except each other, and they're throwing some heated insults back and forth.
Let me just get a good look. Okay. So I see chairs. Is there stuff on this table here?
Yes.
I was also going to say, while he is invisible, the reason that I asked Sam to post the visibility, if you carry something, it turns invisible with you, and returns visible once it leaves your hand. I'm going to start picking up a whole bunch of plates and silverware and stuff like that.
I was going to knock over a couple chairs as well, make it sound like there's a kerfuffle so that they can also possibly get into what's going on in the kitchen since there was a fire going on.
Oh, Varys, you're a silverware thief.
I am not. You'll see what I'm doing with it in a minute.
All right, so are you making noise trying to direct them towards the kitchen?
At least get them into the dining room, and then hopefully with the chefs and whatnot yelling about the fire, that they would go into the kitchen.
In a heated argument, they rolled a very bad perception roll. They are in a heated argument with each other.
Even with me throwing chairs down?
they may possibly be so angry at each other they're paying attention to nothing but each other. I mean,
I'm
you
starting,
may
I'm starting to
already
think
have
that maybe I
distracted. They rolled really bad on their perception. So, but give me a deception roll and let me see if you are able to get them noticing over the argument that they are in.
deception.
Yeah, I'd say that's high enough that they both stop simultaneously and turn their heads towards the kitchen as they hear all this noise. The arguing from the kitchen is now coming out as the chef is just berating, just pressing down this poor younger chef, and they go rushing in to see if they can assist.
I feel so bad.
We can always offer him a job.
I
Yes,
told them
exactly.
the flame was too high.
That's actually that's what gave me my inspiration for the distraction. So thank you.
All right, with that out of the way, Cashin makes his way towards the door.
All right, so you're going directly, I'm assuming, towards the office. So I'll go here. The one next to it is a cloak closet, very, very large cloak closet. And so you open the office, there is an elegant desk inside, very elegant. The desk faces the door. There is a rich, almost throne-like plush chair behind it that looks very regal, very elegant. There are numerous, probably with the shape of the way the desk is built, you would assume there are probably numerous drawers on the other side of the desk. And let me find the office listing here real quickly. Okay, there are shelves with legal tomes in them, tomes about finances, all kinds of things are there. And there is also, standing just inside the door, there is a freestanding suit of bronze armor, full suit of armor, complete with a helm, great sword, and gauntlets, the whole thing, no shield. But it's just standing on a stand just inside the door.
What are the chances that this thing comes alive and tries to kill us if we take the amulet?
100% now that you said it.
Before it is now.
Was there anyone inside that we could see besides,
The office
no one's
is
inside? I'll make a low whisper. Look for a Y.
I am going to. My locate object is still up. Where in the area is it pointing me towards?
I would assume
the
the
desk.
desk.
The desk, yes. All right.
While he's doing that, Relian is actually going to go over to the bookshelf, and he knows what a book and a tome is supposed to feel like, so he's going to begin running his hand over the spines of the books and slightly pushing in. He's looking for twofold. One, to see if there's anything out of place, and two, to see if any of the books have been disturbed recently.
It looks like quite a number of the books. The shelves are not dusty, and the books look well used. There are ledgers on some of them that probably are financial ledgers. If you open them, you probably will find all kinds of things in that. There are a lot of them that are pulled out. However, one of the tomes, when you do this, when you run your hand over it, the book does not slide out as expected.
Good call.
I think I found something. Should we do this first, or should little boy Blue? Where's your mojo pointing?
That's very
Grab the symbol first.
Little boy Blue.
I think he crashed. His picture's
Yeah,
frozen.
his picture is frozen.
Okay, we'll wait for him to reload, where our pictures will all go blip.
Curse you, Mink!
Okay, I'm back.
There we go.
There you go.
Sorry, internet shows a great time to crap out.
Oh, of course.
Right.
Yep.
Oh,
He asked
Anyways,
you
yeah.
where your thing was pointing and
Your
it would be
mojo.
pointing at the desk.
Yes. That.
Rillian's going to keep his hand on the book so he doesn't lose, and he says, well, see, one of you with gloves, because frankly I don't trust touching any of these things without some kind of protection between us and it. One of you with gloves, grab what we're after, and let's see what this is all about.
All right, so Cashin is with Varus, and he's looking at all of the drawers, and he asks Varus which one it is.
Mink does not know.
You can name anyone, it doesn't matter. You just point to a drawer.
Top left.
All right.
I did say I
Cash.
was checking for traps, though. Do I see any of them?
Did you give a roll?
I did not. You didn't ask for.
I was actually going to do that roll for traps, since I have an advantage, but never mind.
That'll do.
Looks like he's doing
No,
pretty well there.
Yeah.
Yes, you do notice the drawer is locked, and from what you can see as you bend down and look into the keyhole, you would say this thing is very powerfully trapped.
Be careful. It is heavily trapped.
I wouldn't expect any less. And Cashin himself would actually take a look at the trap and see if he can disarm it without the use of magic.
You can give me, with thieves' tools, a roll and see if you are lucky.
Can I take the help action and give him advantage? I also have proficiency with thieves' tools.
I believe Cashin has proficiency as well, am I right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. You may give him the help action, yes, so you have advantage if you wish to try to pick the lock.
I will try.
Oh dear God, Cece's got a protege.
Hey,
Can I take that advantage? You're welcome.
Thank you.
You managed to hold up a depressing pin that would have released had you failed the roll. And as you look in, you can see that it would have been a very deadly trap. Probably would have caused poison in the room, and maybe even set off something else in this room that you're not so sure of. Meanwhile, what is Rallian doing with what he found?
From where I am, would I see the drawer open?
I would say yes. You're looking around, keeping an eye on them, and they would be making loud whispering sounds of, I got it, or something. I would assume you would know that it's...
All right.
Before Aurelian does this, is there a door for the entrance of this office?
Just the one you came in. There is no outside.
I'm going to make sure that the door is closed.
All right. So you've closed the door behind you.
Yep. Okay, now you can go, Aurelian. I just want to make sure no one's going to spot us.
Okay. So I think I found one of those cliche triggers you find in fairy tales. If this kills me, bury me with my stuff and don't let Epi eat my birds.
Don't worry, we'll let him eat your corpse.
You know what? I'm not
live
opposed to that.
forever
Let's
in
do this.
Epi's mind.
One of us. One of us.
Cassian earns some reputation.
But Relian is going to gently pull the book back, ready to flee at a moment's notice, because he's kind of intimidated by this whole evil mansion thing.
Give me a perception roll, Rayleigh. In fact, all of you give me a perception roll when he pulls this back.
Perception.
I'm not doing too good on those tonight, but who knows?
Ooh, I finally had a bad roll.
Hey. Just one away from a nat 20.
The other two of you don't hear anything because it's through a closed door, but Cashin's elf ears pick up a very definite click that was heard from outside the door of the office just as Relian pulled the book out.
What do your elf ears hear?
I hear that you fail, but he also hears something clicking outside the room. And he tells them.
I'll open the door gently to look around.
Give me another perception roll for what you see in the foyer.
Another perception.
What do your Asimar eyes see?
I like the idea
23.
of the shepherd like peering down or leaning down, look through the keyhole, and then someone sticking a key in and just jabbing him in the eye.
No, I
We're
open the
also
door.
going to have to find out what you do with the drawer. But as Shepard opens the door and looks around in the foyer, the guards are nowhere in sight. Still, they're apparently trying to get everything under control in the kitchen. And the storage door under the stairs is open.
The storage door is opened.
Don't know how long that's going to last.
Let's move quickly.
Brilliant's going to let go of the book quickly, and he's going to make for the door.
Cashin quickly looks through the drawer, and he will most likely see it.
Well, you will see.
Oh yeah, we would have done Cashin's thing first, I think.
Either way, what do you see? What, Madam DM?
What you see on the main surface of the drawer is you see a whole bunch of small scroll tubes that are all laying very neatly in a stack in this drawer. Give me a perception roll on the drawer itself, please. Or an I'll let you do perception or investigation, whichever you prefer.
Only Cashin?
Only Cashin, because he's the one looking through the drawer at the moment.
No whammy, no whammy, no whammy. Yes.
Hey!
You notice
Perception buddies.
You notice that the drawer's dimensions don't quite fit what you're looking at, and as you feel around under these metal scroll tubes, you notice that there's a false bottom on the drawer.
Naturally, Cashin removes the false bottom.
Surprise! It was trapped again.
You find a symbol of Asmodeus.
Thankfully, Cash has got gloves, and he gingerly picks it up. Hopefully, he doesn't hear a voice.
Nope, you don't hear anything at this point.
The episode where we were all controlled by the stone was called Totally Stoned. Next episode, Totally Amuleted.
They're seeing the amulet be uncovered
Even
and
better.
then disappear.
Symbol-minded.
Symbol, that's a good one.
Oh, God.
I like that one.
We're all fighting.
Anyway, seeing the symbol and then watching it vanish, I would assume that Cashin picked it up.
Yep, and Cashin puts it in one of his belt pouches, and now he makes for the
Quietly.
Close the drawer.
Quietly,
Close the
yeah.
drawer.
Barris will make sure everything is put back the way it looks and close the door. He will try to rearm the trap if he can.
Give me a dexterity roll. Dexterity save, I think, in this case.
Dexterity save.
Yep.
To 20 total.
Okay, you're okay again. You managed to rearm it, and Cashin, I kept trying to ask while you were in the drawer, while you were in his drawers, I was trying to ask.
It's not the first time he's heard that.
He was gonna what?
If you looked at any of the scroll tubes, are you going to just take them out, lay them out, get the symbol, and then put them in?
He was probably gonna look at least one of them.
When you open it, you find a contract for a large sum of money that is papers being held by the Cassalanters on one of the wealthiest nobles in the city. Apparently, the Cassalanters loaned them money.
Cashin will take it.
All right.
As before we leave, I will feel around for Cashin, probably accidentally touch his butt once, and then grab onto his sleeve.
Wow.
We're all invisible! It's probably going to happen. It happens to me at work, and I can see them.
True, yeah.
Hey, it's not gay if it's invisible, you know.
Out of
nothing wrong
context
with
D&D
nothing
quote of the
wrong
night.
with gay though.
Just, I don't care if you have the symbol, but if something goes terribly wrong, give it to me. I can transform into animals and get out. But that's only if, like, it's last case scenario.
Fine. Here, take it. And he puts it in Varys's hand.
Oh, thank you.
I'll stuff it in my pocket and with the glove to
Okay,
keep it from rattling around.
Okay, now we go to the foyer storage door.
Okay. Now I'm going to pause you guys at the storage door because that may be something significant that goes on there. Meanwhile, the rest of the group of you that were in the reading room, giggling with Amalia, are now upstairs. Let me copy your tokens. I'm going to be moving you in a moment to another map where I can show you the upstairs. Trying to keep these on separate maps because it got so complex on one that it was painful. Let's see, that one's not there. That one's not there. That one's not there. That one's not there, but Amalia would be, so I'll have to put these all on. Okay. Alright, I have the 4 of you on the upstairs. That is, I've got to move Nakri and Epiphany. Let me move your tokens to a different thing and we'll identify where you are. Let's see, I need to take your name. Epiphany goes here and you go here. Alright, you should not, they now should be seeing, if you zoom out to where you find where you are, you should find a large ballroom with tiled floor that you have come up the stairs from below. Do you see it, Epiphany and Nakri?
I see nothing but a blank page.
I see us with a stare.
You check to make sure this is on universal.
You just reload the page just to make sure it's not something like that.
Let me make sure that it does not have global illumination. Let me put that up. That may be the problem. And yeah, I checked your token. You can see the entire ballroom, Nakri, if you're right.
Yeah, I'm still just reloading Roll20 just in case it was something on their end.
It was probably the fact I didn't have global illumination on.
Maybe.
Tell me when you can see, please.
Zooming out. Oh, there it is.
Okie doke.
Okay, zooming back in. Pushing that there.
Yep, you came
Zoom
up
down.
those
All right.
stairs that are right beside you. That's where you came up.
Mm-hmm.
And as you step into this very open room, there's almost nothing in it but a piano. And you look around, you notice there are more stairs going further up to a 3rd floor over to the side of you over there. And in the middle of the floor is basically what looks like a nimble right of lesser quality than Nim was. He's just standing rigid in the middle of the floor. He's decorated in very noble hat with a sweeping feather, very noble costume, and he's just kind of standing with his arms out like he's ready to do something, but he's not moving.
Oh, that is amazing. And
I thought
just
we saw some at the parade, didn't we? The Nimblevites, I believe they're called.
yes.
Yes. Oh, this is one of my delights. We have it on loan from the temple, and I am so proud of it. It's our dancing instructor.
Oh.
Oh, lovely.
Yes, he teaches the children, and he teaches anyone who is quite interested in it how to dance. He's quite a wonderful thing to have. Would you like to try him?
Oh, certainly.
And she walks over to him, and she makes a curtsy to him, very formal curtsy in front of him, and says she would like to have this dance. And she motions to you, and he goes in a very robot sort of way and stretches his arms out to you, and prepares to do a dance.
Mariel goes for it.
As he starts to perform a dance, a kind of a minuet sort of dance, the piano in the hall begins to play magically. And he proceeds to waltz around the floor with you in this very formal dance. This goes on for however long you wish to do. He will continue performing this dance.
Mariel probably steps on a few robot feet.
The room itself, as you waltz around, you can see that there are brocade draperies, tapestries. There are tapestries of heroic knights in battle and so forth all over the walls. This is clearly a ballroom, very decorated as a ballroom would be. There are candelabras hanging from the ceiling. This thing is just very gilt all over the place, and there are large mirrors that mirror you as you dance around. It is obviously intended to be the delight of a party, and will probably be one of the centers of entertainment at the big party.
Yeah. Oh, well. Thank you.
With that, she again bows to the construct and says, "You may return to your position." And he turns back into this half arms extended position and locks himself in place again.
Lady Nokri, you should try it sometime.
I think I am still very well versed in the art of dancing.
All right, so I've got to get a map up for me here because I am.
Do I have a sleep spell? I do not.
I have a sleep spell.
Well, you know
It's
what the
called
next
punch.
thing you get to. It's called punch.
I cast fist.
I cast weapon.
I cast cut.
All right. So she proceeds to squire you around this floor, and she takes you in the doors. Let me see if there's, real quickly, if there's doors shut there that I've got to take off so that you can access it. Probably are. Yes, and this is not correct here. Move. Looks like the map got shifted. Hold on just a second. Now it's better. All right, it's a little closer to where it's supposed to be anyway. But she takes you around. I will open these various doors so that you can get the grand tour here of what is going on. These doors over here are actually double doors. They open in a very grand manner to various things, and I have to get my labels so I know exactly which one is which. I know what they are, but not which one on the floor. All right, so when she escorts you through the double doors on the over here, when she escorts you through these double doors over here, she escorts you into an enormous piano room, and that has a huge grand piano in it, much larger than the player piano sort of thing that was in the other room, and a lot of instruments that are set around here. This is obviously an orchestra room where a number of the bards and what have you will perform during the thing, and she proceeds to talk about what her plans are for this room and what will be going on in the room. It's quite large for what it is clearly being used for. There is also behind it, as you go down the hallway to the back, you find yourself in various powder rooms. She opens the doors. There's no one in the convenience rooms at this moment, but there are powder rooms where there are some easy chairs and makeup counters, and also some additional cloak space that is in these rooms. And she chats and talks about her plans for how she's going to put extra cloaks here and her decorations for various things. Then she takes you to this room here, which is directly above the dining room down below. And this room has an additional enormous table with chairs around it, is clearly set up for the overflow dining for the VIPs. She walks over very oddly and pats the table several times, and then she motions for you to come in. And she goes, "This is where the
It's a mimic.
dine." And finally, she takes you to the side. If you won't be able to see from where you are, but it's in this way or from the dining room. There's an overflow kitchen, a second kitchen identical to the one below, that is not currently being used, but clearly it will be the upstairs kitchen for the upstairs dining when the party is occurring, but it's the identical shape of the one below. All doors are open there. Outside, there is a large balcony with stairs going down to the butterfly garden that she talks about. She waves her hand expansively at the beautiful garden below and the children playing. And that is basically this floor. Anything you want to do before I return to our friends below?
Oh, probably just in terms of the tourage / idle chit chat. Knocker would bring up information like about the architecture. She would talk about the potential renovations towards Troll Skull, trying to up the quality of the building, the way it looked. When engaging about the Nimblewright, would have brought up the how the temple has been really generous in assisting with making the clock for the memorial clock and whatnot, and just kind of like weave the conversation organically around the topics type deal.
One of the things that the group of you will notice as you move around chatting about the party is that this floor is basically at this time virtually empty except for the Nimblewright. The Nimblewright is the only thing of slightly humanoid appearance anywhere on this floor. This is apparently relatively unused except during parties. All right, we return downstairs if Epiphany has nothing to add.
We're good.
Okay, back to our friends in the downstairs. You hear
So Varys has pressed himself against the wall as everyone walks past them and starts going upstairs.
you hear the guards angrily telling everybody to simmer down in the kitchen, and you can hear them winding everything down, and they're starting to move back towards the hall.
Well, we would have made our way to the door,
Right.
and
You look down into the door, and you look down into dark steps going down into darkness. This area is completely dark.
we'll go ahead and start walking down.
All right.
Can you see in ASMR do have dark vision, don't they?
Yep, I have
Okay.
dark vision.
As do I.
I was
We
the
all
only
have
party
dark
member that did
vision.
not at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Varys is going to try to, as everyone starts going down, he's going to try to examine the door and see if he can find the mechanism that opened it.
You are able to not only find a spring-loaded mechanism, you are able to find a little latch on the cellar side that will close it from that side as well.
I close it once we are all past.
All right. As you
And
step,
then I have a question. I remember you telling me that I felt extreme desecration below me. Did I feel any fiends below me as well? Because I remember you telling me there was a fiend above me when I did my detect good and evil.
I heard fiends above and below.
yes, but I've got there's a transient matter at this. I would say at this moment, you don't specifically detect a fiend below. However, you
I just feel
can
that desecration.
feel the desecration, and that it is probably leads to such things.
Okay.
All right. So you step into this as you come down the stairs into this area. Let me get your tokens over here, and I've got to find which. There's several things here. I've got to get the tokens in the right place. Where's the up? Apparently cut it off. That's down, and I'm pretty sure you come into, yeah, 6. You came in here, only the arrow is missing, showing exactly where it comes down in. But you would step down into a cellar that is abnormally, intensely cold. It is very, very cold in this room. Now let me pull your token. I'll go to the other map and grab your tokens and pull them over here. Let's get you first. Let's see, that's this group of people. Copy. And I will paste you on the cellar where you come in. You come down the stairs, and there is like a wall in front of you. At the end of the stairs, it doesn't look as if there is any way through. It is solid shut, and as you lay your hand up on the door, trying to like feel around to see, obviously there's probably some kind of opening, otherwise the stairs dead end into nothing. It doesn't take a roll to figure out that there's some kind of opening here. As you lay your hand on the stone of this probably door in front of you, it almost freezes the skin off your hand. It is so cold.
I'll cast. No, I can't cast because I'll lose my invisibility.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take my mace and I'll start like lightly poking the wall, see if I can't find anything that like kind of moves or anything.
As you tap the wall, give me. I'm going to take a dexterity, just a dexterity check.
Check, not save.
Yes.
Yeah, 12.
It takes you a little bit of time, but you notice that there are some areas that kind of move aside, and you find 3 actual locks. They are keyhole locks in this door.
Cashin, I think we will need your aid again, and I'll point out where I find the locks.
Yeah, Cashin will move over, and first he'll peer into the keyholes.
Give me a perception roll.
My passive is 17.
Okay. It's very dark in there, but it looks like it's a storage area for some chests, and there you see some clothes and things piled in the room in there.
Look, I see chests and clothes. Ropes, maybe? I don't know.
Whatever is in there, we need to get into. The sword is within.
If you say so. And he looks to Varys, or he really can't see Varys, but he says to Varys, help me out.
I will take the help action.
Very good. So you need 3 of your dex saves.
All right, and I have advantage on all 3 of
Dex
them,
saves.
I hope.
Oh, dear.
Oh, dex saves? You mean dex saves or thieves' tools?
Dex check with these tools.
All right, well, either way, I have a +6.
And I'll step back over with Relian.
All right.
25, 23, and 20.
Boy. Help action is the winner on that one.
Yes.
The door clicks open, and you step into this cold, cold chamber. There is another locked door ahead of you, and now I'm going to move everybody's ribbon to this page. Let me drag. Let's see, I always have to remember how I drag you guys. Yeah, first I'm going to drag you all onto the same page. Then I'm going to put you over here, and the group of you will be seeing your various areas. All right, so now the group of the sneaky group is downstairs, has gotten into this area. You are looking at a closed door ahead of you and various open areas to the side.
Would I know roughly? Because I'm under the assumption that my detect spell is gone because it's only a 10-minute thing.
Yes.
Would I know roughly the direction where I felt the consecration area?
No, I would say that you just know that it felt deeper it felt right at the limit of your spell, and you know that you've probably gone down only 1 story, and so probably it is below you yet.
Then I'll let the others know we need to find another set of stairs that goes down. I don't think we're close enough for it yet.
All right, so Cashin will take point. He has the super sneaky boots.
All right.
I don't think that, to be fair, I don't think the super sneaky boots help too much since we're invisible anyway.
Well,
It
you
extra
guys
helps.
still make footfall noises. Cashin doesn't, so he's completely untraceable,
Yeah, he's got
unless
these
you know.
special boots, and he's just he is silent.
Okay.
Period. He doesn't even have to make a roll really for it. He'd have to really do something stupid to have to make a roll. But yeah, he's
Don't challenge him.
And you step into a room that is being kept quite cold, and it is, in spite of what they said, it is a very swanky wine room. You notice that there are some vats, Cashin. I'm going to use your same perception that you had. You notice there are some vats sitting with a lid half ajar that are like keg-sized, that are sitting upright in this room, and then this whole wall of wine bottles and so forth that's in the room. That is all you notice at this point. It just seems to be this rectangular room that is all wine storage.
Cashin will check on the one open lid.
Give me a perception roll.
While he's doing that, do I notice anything down this hallway?
I don't believe so. I've got to see here.
I thought that's where we came from.
Same.
Yeah, actually, I believe that is where you came from. I'm missing some
Oh,
of
okay.
the things on my map, and so I am having to figure it out. But yes, that's actually where you came down and into that room.
Okay. Never mind. It looked like we were coming from this direction. I didn't know if there was a secret door that we came from.
That was my mistake. That wasn't you.
Nope. Perfectly fine.
Yes,
Then I will
this is
carry
the
on.
hallway you came down. When I made the second map, I lost some of the indicators of where things came in from stairs, which is why I was trying to figure out where everything was. Anyway, so you are now looking at the entire right side of this room, or east side of this room, of these big wine racks, and then these open barrels, and he gave me a 20 on a perception roll. The vats do not smell healthy. They
Define unhealthy.
They don't smell like wine. They don't smell edible. They are full of a liquid that you don't like the smell of.
Can Cashin figure out what it is, what this liquid is?
Give me a nature check, nature roll. Nope. How about Varys?
Come on,
Varys
Varys.
will come up
What
and
is this?
also give a roll.
Varys would look at you guys with probably an odd look, because he smells poison in these vats.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that's poison.
Does it remind me at all of the type of liquid that was coming out of the plant monsters from the farms outside the city?
Oh no, that kind of aberration thing. No, this is some kind of alchemy concoction.
Okay.
Not
I will take my now empty invisibility potion, and with a gloved hand try to collect a vial of this poison.
Dex check.
Do I get any sort of advantage because I have the glove on?
You won't get poisoned. I want to see
Fair.
how.
Is it a dex check or a dex save?
Dex check? I want to see how carefully. Yeah, you're able to very carefully fill this and stopper it without spilling any on the floor or anything.
Cool.
Alright, so now we have proof. Well, unless they remove this poison. Anyway, let's get moving.
So whatever happens, we definitely don't go to the party here.
Well, of course, unless you want to be poisoned.
I mean, we could still go and just bring our own refreshments.
And you said that there are not any other doors, right?
There was a door when we first entered, and I've moved myself back to it. I was going to
I
call
see.
for you guys to come.
Varys will briefly give a look around the chamber and see if there is any other sort of hidden areas. before leaving.
All right, give me a perception roll, please.
Perception. That's not good.
What's your passive?
My passive is 17.
The wall to the south does not look right in
I'll
this area.
like wrap my knuckles on the stone wall next to me as I hear everyone else leaving and say,
Wait, there's a hidden passage down here. Well, I suppose you can't see where I'm pointing, but
It
Just
was
say where it is.
on the
it's
south
down on the south wall.
Hold on. Wait, time out. Who puts a hidden passage inside a hidden passage? This seems like a hat on a hat. Which
Well,
I love.
To be fair, if you get past the first hidden passage, you probably won't look for a second hidden passage.
Secrets
Unless-
upon secrets.
Unless you do, in which case you find this.
Anyway, Cashin will try to find a way to open this.
The door has a metal device on it that is a silver chalice. Looks like it's actually made out of real silver, with a golden sun on it.
Of course.
This is that noble god.
And it is this. It's like a almost thin shield, almost put up on the wall, that is hung on this wall.
I will try to press the symbol.
When you do, the wall slides back.
Alright.
Hey, figured it out!
Into the lion's den we go.
Be on your guard.
You step into a room that is empty except for several piles of gold. Bars,
Don't touch it. Do not touch this.
ingots of gold. They are stacked very neatly in this room. Quite a lot of gold. Probably about the amount that was withdrawn from the bank of Waterdeep.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember being told that they were pulling out ingots, not just coins, right?
That's right. And on the far end of the room, where we will end it for the night, are very dark stairs going down.
I did it?
Never do it again.
That is where we will leave it for tonight. The one last thing I will ask is the party group. What are you going to be doing as we pick up next week with the group of them exploring some stairs going down again?
I got it.
After.
We have her outnumbered. Nakri, let's do this.
You guys don't know what I know that's going on upstairs.
So do you, okay, so on a curiosity question, are we being led towards that demon? Because, like, shit, if that's about to happen, I'll brawl this jacket. I don't care.
Do this. You owe me a new dress. Let's do this.
Oh god, I just imagine like Epi like emerging from that dress, just tearing it open as he transforms into his true form and just looks at it and says, I liked that dress.
I'll take yours.
Don't
It's like
make
Little
me mad
Mermaid,
by
you know,
ripping my
Vanessa
dress.
becoming Ursula, only worse somehow.
You won't like me when you rip my dress. Okay,
You won't
so
likely me with my clothes on.
all right, so you guys are upstairs getting the tour. Anything in particular you want me to set up about next week or whatever? There's maybe things that you need upstairs.
I think we're mostly just keeping keeping her busy and distracted at the moment, because we're still not totally sure where in this building, because we don't know that they have the device, the symbol.
Yeah.
And as far as we know, the sword is like way further down, right? Yeah. So
As far as Golar
we're-
knows, it's deep and in a place surrounded by evil.
Yeah.
Sleeping within the earth's bosom.
yeah. So as far as we
Bosom.
know, we're just keeping everybody distracted, especially her, while they're ransacking her house.
So, I'll apologize to the four of you now. If shit goes south and they're like, "How dare you bring these people?" I had no idea they were going to do this, and I am
No,
going
it's
to keep
perfectly fine.
to that story and stick with it.
Oh, perfectly fine.
Don't
You
worry,
have
don't worry,
plausible
that's what Fireball's
deniability.
for.
We have the Mission Impossible who will deny your existence. All right.
You will deny even knowing you planned this.
Yeah, it will be in 2 weeks because it will be in 2 weeks because of Father's Day next week. So just hang on, and we'll find out what's at the end of these various stairways in 2 weeks. We go into the darkness, and do we have any final words from Relium?
Bye, everybody, and remember, never trust someone who says they're spiritual. In fact, if someone tells you they're spiritual, run as fast as you can, because here's something that a lot of people forget. Demons are spirits, too.
That was
I'm
a very
spiritual.
well-timed door knock.
Yeah, I had one
Somewhat,
too.
I feel like that's a somewhat poignant lesson, considering where we are.
Yeah, I had
Oh, yeah.
one too. Okay, so we will see you in 2 weeks. Good night, all.
Happy Father's Day.
Bye.